Hey, howdy. I don't know how to start this video. Welcome to Ninali's How to Make a Character. I was going to make this into a video series, but thought it'd be easier to make a full video instead. Because this is along with my portfolio, I don't want to make this too terribly long, so this is basically going to be a tips and tricks video. I know if I make it long, it's going to be like 15 minutes to 30. You can follow along with this video or you can watch it later. I'm sure you'll be able to find a link to it somewhere. So, let's start off with a basic overlay of what we're going to be doing and talking about, shall we? The introduction, which is why did I make this video and what's our takeaway with it. The design, which is basically me going to tell you things to consider when drawing the character, and you don't have to be an artist to make art. The character itself, which is basically things to add in order to flesh the design out of it. And what can you do with this character now that you've made it? Let's go! To put it simply, the reason why I made this video is because I wanted to do something I knew how to do and I wanted to have fun as well. But in an inspiring artist perspective, what I see around not only UTSA but still today in modern society is that when talking about artists, we usually see those who are wanting to become the next big name. You know, people like Picasso or Van Gogh. And that inadvertently creates a lot of pressure onto said artist because that kind of recognition takes a lot of time, dedication, and unfortunately, very importantly, money. I know that I've been in that same boat before, especially when I realized that being a creator and getting your name out there is a lot harder than I imagined. New artists and the general public are in this mindset that artists are those classic oil painters you'd see in museums, or in some cases, those murals or statues you would see out in a park or something. Which, I'd like to clarify, this is not me downplaying the importance or brilliance of those artworks. At the end of the day, those are still their own masterpieces. I'm also not discrediting the artists who do those kind of artworks either. Each person has their own comfortable style after all. What works, works. What I'm trying to get at is that because of the fact that there are a lot of high standards for artists, this creates some potential stress in trying to be the best, putting themselves on some sort of pedestal when they don't really need to. Especially when, in this day and age, artwork is getting disrespected by things like AI and theft. I was inspired to talk about this because I want to be a character designer. I love writing and drawing characters, exploring different art styles for them, and immersing myself in fictional worlds because of those creations. And I want to make people feel that same way with the characters I create. My main inspiration for this video was this artwork that I saw at UTSA at an art gallery. I unfortunately don't know the name of this artist, but they made an artwork that showcased all of their characters, or at least I'm assuming those are their characters, in very cartoony and colorful ways. If you know who the original artist is, please let me know, I would love to meet them. This artwork was kind of a sigh of relief for me, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's reassuring that something like this, just a big collage of someone else's own characters, was able to get out there and be seen. That you don't need to be a professional in order to be appreciated. And I think that also takes a lot of courage to show things like this. Because outside of the internet and social media, you don't see stuff like this very often. And today, I want to do that too. I want to show artists, and you guys as well, that you don't have to put pressure on yourselves to stand out or to make it big. You can start or just be something comfortable and or silly. And over time, you can branch out into things in unfamiliar territory. I mean, that's what adulthood and school life is already, right? Or maybe you're already doing that by watching this video. I don't know. This is also just a little de-stressor in order to take things slow and have fun for a little while. I want you guys to have something you can be proud of that you made, even if they're just a little goober. Anyway, introduction aside, let's get to the fun part now. First, you want to think of what kind of character you want to make first. Well, to make this simple for you and me, let's do a human or humanoid design. I typically like making human character designs, or humanoid character designs in this case, and for those who are saying I can barely draw a stick man, this might help. Let's head off to shapes and lines. If you look at a wooden mannequin, they consist of a bunch of different shapes that act as building blocks for a basic human body. The head is oval, joints are ball-shaped, torso is rectangular or trapezoid, you get the gist. Of course, if you need proper references, like for posing or specific proportions, you're free to research at your leisure. But what's fun about art and characters is that you don't have to really follow proper anatomy if you don't want to. Especially if the art style is very wacky. The head can be any shape you want, whether it be triangle, star, diamond, etc. You can have long arms and short legs, make the body a cloud, or be whatever Subal is from the Amazing Digital Circus. Here's the design that I made using very basic shapes. But they're lacking something. Ah, that's it. Let's go explore some colors. Now, color palettes in color theory is something very elementary. Primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, secondary colors are orange, green, and violet. There are different hues and different shades, but they should all work together. Like complementary colors. For example, blue and orange are considered complementary colors because they look nice together, and they are the main colors for UTSA, right? Or like how red and green are complementary as well, and are heavily associated with Christmas. Very iconic. Of course, you don't have to follow this complementary color rule to a T, and just do colors you find pleasing together. When I'm drawing a character, I kind of already have a color palette in mind once I look at my finished line art. But sometimes you're kinda lazy and don't want to think about what color should belong to a character, or maybe you can't decide on what colors. So you can always go to coolers.co. It's a free and easy color palette generator that I use from time to time if I don't know what colors I want to give a character. Let's see what the site gives me, shall we? Tea Green, Celadon, Keppel, Marianne Blue, and Palatinate. Alright, I can work with this. But the design is looking a bit plain, even with all these colors, isn't it? It's time to take some inspiration. I get inspired by a lot of things. I'm sure we all do, especially if you're a creative person like me. I like taking stuff from the things I watch, play, listen to, or read, and add my own personal twist to it. A big inspiration for me is Dead Sound, or David Armsby, a short film animator who has some really sick character designs. I'll be taking a close look at how the protagonist from Redone is designed to see what I can add to this little fella. I noticed the character I designed resembled Rob from The Amazing World of Gumball quite closely, along with a similar color scheme to Peridot from Steven Universe. Sometimes inspiration can also be accidental, and maybe those characters can help me come up with the next segment. Now that we have the look down, let's get into the meat and bones of the skin! That sounded way better in my head. Naming. Everyone's got a name, right? Well, how about we come up with a name for our character? Naming, especially for characters, can be pretty difficult for some people. We can name them after an actual name like Joseph or Kel, name them after something that resembles their appearance or color scheme like Mint or Rusty. Maybe try a name that has a specific meaning in a different language like Forest that means in the woods in French. Let's go for something simple and name this dude Oxy, which is a reference to oxidized metal or copper, because they're green and they're a robot. Personality. Personality can be just based on how the character looks, either with the expression you gave them, the colors you chose, the pose you did, etc. If it's a neutral look or they have a normal posture, then it's basically a blank slate. Maybe you want them to be based off of yourself, so you pick key personality traits that you have. Maybe you want to subvert people's expectations and make a character who looks cute and innocent to be an absolute bully, or vice versa. It's all really up to you. I think I'll make Oxy into a mischievous but helpful character. Their design kinda reminds me of a tutorial character you'd find in a video game, or that best friend archetype you'd find in cartoons. Likes and dislikes. This one's an easy one, or at least I hope it is. Just think about what your character would like and dislike. Let's see. Oxy likes reading books on a rainy day, picking up random rocks and putting them into a collection, and also dancing. Oxy doesn't like tripping, because it takes them a while to get back up on balance with only one wheel, going out into the heat, and singing, because they have a text-to-speech voice.
Hello, my name is Oxy.
Backstory. A character's backstory is optional. Maybe you want to keep it a secret, or you haven't thought of an origin for them yet, or maybe you don't even want an origin for them to begin with. Whatever floats your boat. If you do plan on making a character's backstory, you can take a bunch of different routes. Maybe, again, you want to project some of yourself onto this character, so you make a backstory like your own life story. Maybe it's a bit fantastical and they were once a hero from a far-off land, or a criminal who managed to escape from their execution. Perhaps they're the last survivor of a post-apocalyptic world, or they're just an average person. Whatever kind of story you want to tell with this character, or none at all, it's all up to you. I haven't thought of a backstory yet for Oxy, but maybe I will after making this video. Now, there's a lot more you could think about and write to flesh out your character, like adding fears, dreams and aspirations, weaknesses and strengths, Do they have any special abilities or powers? Or even stuff like their gender, height, and weight, sexuality, etc. But you can probably do that on your own time if you feel like it. There's no need to think about all of that all at once. In conclusion, now what can you do with this character? There's a few things you can do. If you plan on making a fictional world or some kind of story, you can plop them right in as long as it fits the world and vibe of it. Yeah. You can treat them like some sort of mascot, promote something you've done, promote something someone else has done, make them represent you or someone else, act as a mouthpiece for you or a group as long as it's not harming anyone. And there's always the option of making them into a comfort character. A comfort character is basically someone who latches onto a character whether it's something they made themselves or someone else has made. It helps relieve stress or anxiety by thinking about that character in a positive manner. A little pick-me-up, if you will. Maybe this character could also be somewhat of a goalpost. Maybe you made this character as an ideal version of yourself and you want to be that person. Not actually be them, but in terms of their goals or wants or stability, then that could work too. Just as long as you don't compare yourself to this character you made in an unhealthy manner, then go for it. Those are basically some of the ideas that I came up with. There could be a lot more options. I mean, it's your character, do whatever you want with it. Make it a blueprint for a different project, chuck it in the trash to vent out your frustrations. I don't know, man. But yeah, I think that's about it. I hope I did this well enough to follow. The whole point of this video was just to promote creative thinking, de-stress from whatever problems you might have as an artist or not, and to just have fun. As well as adding another reminder that you can still make things simple and come out okay. There's no need to put so much pressure on yourself, even if you're not starting out and still trudging on. If you made a character with me, great, I'd love to see it. If not, oh well, I just hope this video was fun enough to watch. Anywho, I think I'll take my leave now. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.